thank you everybody for hopping on today. I'll get us going here. This is the planning board meeting of Tuesday, June 6th. This is a remote only session. So Zoom link for the meeting was posted on the meeting agenda with the meeting ID 638-929-1060. The meeting will also be available later on Norton Cable Access. For future sessions, if anyone has questions or comments to submit to the board, please send them to Brian Carmichael, town staff, who is listed on the meeting agenda. So, with that abbreviated version of my introduction out of the way, dive right in here. I don't believe we had anything specific to discuss in terms of planning board business and policies or bills and warrants at this time. If we have anything bill-wise, we can review them in our next session. And we do not have any minutes to approve for this meeting either. So the only thing on our agenda is something we discussed at our last session, which is the planning board election and roles. So just to restate, we have, in terms of roles, we have chair, vice chair, clerk, SERPED representative, payroll signer, and alternative payroll signer. And historically, the chair has been the payroll signer, and the alternatives can be whoever we choose. We don't necessarily need to follow that precedent, but it makes it simple and straightforward and in line with what other boards do. Does anybody have any questions or comments prior to us diving into this? Okay. In terms of process, generally the process is if you would like to nominate someone, including yourself, for a role, you can please do so. That person can then accept or refuse the nomination, and then we'll see if there are any other nominations for that same post, and if we need to, we will do a vote on each one. So I will go ahead and start with the chair. Just start at the top, and then I'll work our way down, so to speak. Do we have any nominations for the position of chair?
Motion to nominate Tim Griffin as chair of the planning board.
Thank you. I will accept the nomination. Are there any nominations for the position of chair? Okay. If there are no other nominations, I will go to the members for a vote, starting with how everybody appears on my screen. So Wayne, I will start with you.
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Alan?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. For the position of vice chair, which is the person who serves if the chair and runs the meeting if the chair is unable. Alan has been serving as the vice chair for the last bit of time here. So would anybody like to make a nomination for the role of vice chair?
Motion to nominate Alan Bowie as vice chair of the planning board.
Okay. And Alan, do you accept that nomination?
Sure. I didn't mess it up too bad a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Are there any nominations for the position of vice chair? Okay. Guess we'll move on down the line again. I'll start with Wayne.
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Alan?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. Thank you, Alan. Okay. For the position of clerk, I think we talked about this a little bit before. The role of clerk is responsible for signing the decisions of the board and Historically, the clerk has also maintained the issue tracker for larger, bigger projects that we feel merit it. That responsibility can be with whoever we want, but it is a template that we have used. Laura has been serving as the clerk, and thank you very much for what you have done. So anything you want to add in terms of the roles or responsibilities of the clerk that I didn't cover?
No, that's about it. I'm happy to stay in the role. I am also happy to pass along the torch if someone else would like to take it.
Motion to move Laura Parker for clerk.
Seconded.
Okay. Laura, do you accept the nomination?
I will, unless somebody else would like it.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations for the role of clerk? Okay. With that, I will go through the roll again. Wayne,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. Laura, I half expected you to say no to that, just from a...
I would have
Okay.
nominated her again.
I like to be helpful,
Okay. And
Not
we
that-
do...
not chair helpful.
Okay. And the other position that we talked about last time was Serpent representative. Jim has been serving in that role over the past bit, but he doesn't feel as if he can make that time commitment moving forward. So do we have somebody who is interested in the role of a Serpent representative and would potentially be interested in a nomination, therefore?
Yeah, I'm interested in the nomination for the position.
I will second that. Would anybody else like to nominate someone or nominate themselves? Okay. A lot of contested races here. Okay. So I'll go through everybody again. Wayne,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. Brian, I believe the Serpent representative has a form that needs to be filled out, correct?
I believe so. I'm gonna go get that tomorrow and fill it out and give it passed along to Serpent.
Okay. Sounds good. The last two items are payroll signer and payroll alternative signer. So payroll signer, the question is, do we want to keep that with the chair or not? If we'd like to change the process, then we can discuss it. If we want to leave it alone, we can leave it alone.
My vote's leave it alone for both signer and backup signer.
Laura has been the backup signer for payroll. So,
That's fine. I'm already there to sign decisions, so.
and it's generally only if I happen to be like out of state during the week that payroll needs to be signed or something. So generally not a big deal. So if
We're
we're
gonna need some more projects in order to have some decisions to sign.
hey, we'll get there. We'll take the short meetings when we can, and then wish for them later.
All right.
We've had a whole year of heavy meetings. seems
We
like.
did, yes. Okay, so that is all the positions that we have on the board. So that takes care of that. Is there anything else anybody wanted to discuss in the open session this evening?
Yeah, I got a topic.
Sure, Steve.
At the last meeting we had, I had mentioned in the subdivision bylaw that the town has I thought it was the ability, but it's actually a mandate to require the subdivision developer to retain one parcel as an open space parcel for at least 3 years, and within that 3 years, the town has the right to buy that parcel of land. So the next time a subdivision comes up, we're actually required to make them have a parcel available for us. And that's another thing I want to address is when we have a developer come in, they should start off knowing that we're gonna need them to put a piece of land aside.
When have we ever missed it? I guess is my question.
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't. I'm not sure.
Ninth Street would have been the last one, and I'm pretty sure we crossed that pretty early on with that.
The question that came up with the A&R that we had, which wasn't a full subdivision, but it brought up the discussion, so that's why it kind of came to the forefront.
Yeah, I didn't think we missed one. We just the
No,
common
I
ground.
have no record that it was missed. I was just going through the handbook, and that part stood out to me. So just going forward, I'd like to at least tell the board that I'm going to be bringing up that topic because I think it's part of what we're required to do. I don't know how many times it's been done or not.
Yeah, and it would be something that we would potentially have the ability to waive if we felt it was justified. But yeah, no, it's a good thing to note. It's a good thing to keep in mind as we look at further subdivision projects.
Cool.
Yeah.
If we want to put pet peeves out there, I want everyone to be going to the frickin' fire department before they come to our first meeting. There is no reason why they shouldn't walk right over to the fire department, at least have a phone call before the first meeting. I'm sick of saying that every time.
Yeah. No, that's something I think we can definitely improve. And if we're going to go through that, I'm going to go with the requirement in our bylaws for maps to be at a certain scale that we waive on like 80% of projects. And just take up ink for no reason. So.
We could require color. That would be great. Let's get rid of the scale and require color.
We have to make sure that we have a color printer and all that fun stuff. But yes. Okay. If we do have other bylaw items that we'd like to review, either officially or unofficially in terms of a proposed article at town meeting or unofficially in other ways, please write them down. I know I will forget if I don't, and we can address them at a later point. The only note that I had moving forward is that it is now June somehow, despite what the weather may say. So that it's about time to start talking about if we wanted to do a look at the solar bylaw in fall. We want to start talking about it. If due to the change in the town planner position, if we feel like that's something we would prefer to hold off a little bit longer, that's a decision we can make as well. We just need to make a decision, and we'll try and choose path A or path B potentially at our next meeting, and communicate out appropriately.
We have an update on that front, meaning the planner.
I have not heard one, other than I heard that there was positive momentum, and that's all I haven't heard anything official or anything else yet. But yeah.
When is the next meeting?
The next meeting should be the 20th. Currently, we do not have anything for applications, but we can have discussion if we so desire.
That's right. We'll be at the media center, right?
I can go check. It might be at the library.
Yep.
The calendar invite says the library.
Okay.
Or we can just
No.
cancel if there's nothing on it also.
That is also a choice, yes.
What's the deadline for canceling?
I mean,
I think
I don't know, I can't think of.
call it the Tuesday or something before or something like that, probably. To the point where when Brian's putting together the agenda to give it to Lucia to post it, basically.
Or our deadlines for applications are Thursday, or anything is Thursday, right? So probably the Thursday before is the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Depending on what comes in, like an A&R project, there's actually you have to address an A&R with a certain amount of time when it comes in, otherwise it's considered approved. Basically, if you don't deal with it in this long, it's approved, no matter, and too bad you didn't look at it in time. So those we try and get on the first agenda we can.
and I believe those are 45 days, but
Yeah, but then you get
Still.
into if we have to ask them to come back to another meeting to fix X, Y, or Z, then it gets, yeah. So if we don't have anything come in, there may be other things to discuss. South Washington has talked about submitting updated plans for a revised project. So that is a potential topic of discussion as well. So I wouldn't make dinner reservations, but I also wouldn't worry about it being a terribly long meeting if it does take place.
and I spoke to Joe Cagliano today, and he is interested in discussing the potential solar bylaw change for fall town meeting. So
Which
he's
is-
going to more than
Yeah.
likely send an email to basically try to get onto a planning board agenda.
Yep, you can send him my town email, and I'm happy to respond to him, depending on what we discuss at our next session.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anything further? Okay. Wayne?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Laura? Alan?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us virtually this evening, and have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Tim, Wayne, Laura, Eric, Brian, Alan, Steve,
Night, Peter.
Charlie, and Shane. Good night, everybody.